It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview Nicole Robertson, who is a professional soccer player. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you for asking.
Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to play professional soccer?
I think it came from participating in multiple sports when I was little. And my parents put me in any sport you can think of, and my interest stayed with soccer for the majority of my life. So I think that's what really made me want to continue on and make a career out of it.
What was your time like playing for Purdue?
Purdue was a good experience based on experiencing a new culture, new climates, and different girls from all over the country, and also a really good league that they participate in. So I really enjoyed that, and the academics at Purdue were top notch. I really enjoyed all the classes I participated in, and I really enjoyed meeting the girls on my team and the friendships I made.
What were some of your accomplishments, and what did it feel like to put on that Purdue jersey for the first time?
Some of my accomplishments were, I think, like MVP of the week. I think that's one of the ones I got. I didn't get many like rewards or awards or anything like that, but I think it's kind of like a surreal moment to put on the jersey when you're in university for the first time. Because I was there from my freshman year to my first semester of my sophomore year. So just experiencing that in like a really big crowd is just a really nice feeling to have when you play a sport.
What was the transition like from going from your sophomore year to transferring to a whole different college team with San Diego?
It was not only difficult based on like moving my stuff from Indiana back to California, but it's different to go back to a different culture and a different group of girls and trying to migrate into that university and what they like their morals and their beliefs throughout their program. But I really enjoyed it as well. The culture suited me most because I grew up there. So it was nice to try to migrate into that kind of culture again.
What was it like putting on the San Diego State jersey, knowing that obviously you grew up around San Diego?
Um, I think it didn't feel as special as Purdue based on I didn't get as much playing time at San Diego. It was kind of the part of my career where I realized that I wanted to skip university sports in general and try to play abroad and experience something new. And so my time there was mostly focused on myself and my own progression rather than trying to make a name of myself at the school in general.
What was it like from going from San Diego to signing your first professional contract?
It was a surreal experience because I didn't really know that it was going to happen until middle of my semester. It was my first semester junior year that I got the contract. So knowing that within a few months I was going to move into a different country I had no idea about was a bit scary, but exciting at the same time. And I was really happy to migrate over to Denmark.
What was it like going to Denmark and playing in Denmark?
At first, it's different because it's a different culture and different weather and just a whole different experience, and the language and trying to get yourself around as much as you can. And I really enjoyed my first team there because they were really welcoming and really sweet and just made me feel at home. So I really liked that.
What was it like putting on the first professional jersey?
It was a great experience. I just felt like empowered, and you feel valued in a way because you have people who believe in you and believe in your ability, and they kind of give you that self-respect of like you're there to help the club and they're there to help you. And that was kind of the culture I got from them. And it was just like a really good family oriented club.
What was it like playing with the club of Vinberg SF?
It was really good. Vildbjerg is in like the middle of nowhere, which is kind of a difference that I'm used to because I'm used to the city life and a lot of people, but there it's very um away from everyone, if you want to say. But I really enjoyed that club and just the culture of the club. And it was just like full of sweet people and just really motivated girls to not only have a good time, but also want to get better.
What were some of the clubs that you played for?
All in Denmark.
Yes.
Okay, so I have played for Vildbjerg SF for 6 months. And after that, I moved to Brondby and I was there for 3 months until a visa process like failed. So then from Brondby, I got an offer to go to FC Nordsjaelland. And with Nordsjaelland, I was there for a little over a year. And a lot of my accomplishments in my soccer career came from that club because I was the ambassador of the girls academy. I was the first paid female player of the club. So I was part of the project of building up the women's program within the club. And that gave me the most self-satisfaction because I was a part of trying to make the game equal between men and women and also just help younger girls progress in their career while progressing in mine. So I really enjoyed that. And then I was going to stay at Nordsjælland for longer, but a club in Copenhagen called B93, they bought me from Nordsjælland, and then I became the first female player, like paid female transfer for women's soccer in Denmark. So then that was another big thing that helped kind of progress the sport in Denmark. And from there, I played with B93 for 1 year. And then after that, I moved to OB, which is in Aalborg on the other side of Denmark again. And I was there for 6 months, but because of COVID, it couldn't be any longer because of financials and just like the economy in general and also the pandemic. So after OB, that's when I left Denmark for the first time and went to Glasgow City. And I was with them from November of 2020 to this previous June. And that was a really great experience based on not only a new league that was really challenging, but also experiencing Champions League. And that's the one thing I really wanted to experience. And I do want to experience it again. So I hope with the next club I do play for, if it's in Europe, that I can experience that or help a club get there and they can help me develop as well.
Can you talk about, of course, when you got the opportunity to be the leader and have the team roll around you?
I think I would say there was like 2 or 3 clubs that I had that leadership role, and that was Nordsjælland, B93, and OB. And I think it was mostly because of maybe like the experience I had or my age, because a lot of the girls within those clubs were really young. So it helps with, developing younger players earlier so then they can get a head start on their career. But I'm not someone that seeks to be like the captain or the leader. I seek to be the one that helps motivate people to be their best, and then they do the same for me. So I kind of like having that like support system where everyone is positive and encouraging to each other, and it makes the experience a lot more I guess you can say inviting to keep players at the club and also just make everyone enjoy the sport.
What was the transition like for you whenever you found out that you got bought out from, of course, Nordstrom?
It was different because I was back in California for Christmas and I was gonna go back to Nordsjaelland because I still had my contract with them, but then I got a call from the owners of B93 saying that they bought me from Nordsjaelland and that, they wanted me to be with them. And I was really excited because then it was like a new club, a new experience, and also making history for the country. And I think that's what is really rewarding because it's something that shows that, you know, women's sport need to be as equal as men, to have I think equality between the sports is just like an important thing to me. So, and my morals. So having that happen was just really exciting.
What were some of your accomplishments in Glasgow City?
Um, I would say I wasn't given any like awards or anything, but for me personally, I think an award I would give myself is or accomplishment is like being able to make a difference despite all of the ups and downs I went through during that time. And it was like a really tough season. So I think just overcoming all of my personal struggles is rewarding enough.
What was it like whenever you signed with Glasgow City for the first time?
It was really rewarding, especially because coming from Denmark to Glasgow City, they had me on trial. So I wasn't promised anything when I first went there. So it was all about, trying to fit in, improve myself to the club. And the first week I was there, I actually got an ankle injury and I had to heal myself really fast in order to try and get in contract, try to get a contract with the club. And I was able to do that within the 2 weeks. So that's another accomplishment for myself is being able to, pick myself back up after something that can hinder my performance.
Of course, when you got that ankle injury, were there any doubts like, oh my God, I might not be able to play, might not get this contract, or did you know that you had it?
I think because like when an injury happens, you can kind of tell the severity of it. And I knew mine wasn't as bad. So I knew to myself that I could heal it really fast within a couple of days and miss, 3 or 4 trainings, which is fine. So I wasn't too worried. I was just really focused on trying to show that I can fit in with the team. I think that's the most important thing when it comes to trying out with a new club and like a new culture and everything. You want to show that you can fit in and you can be like a new puzzle piece that adds to the picture.
What were game days like for you with Glasgow versus all the other game days you were with?
Ooh, I think the most nerve-wracking I've ever felt was my first Champions League game with Glasgow City because with Champions League, it's the most competitive and you want to show your best, especially when it comes to your first experience with that. But I really enjoyed putting on the game day jersey for Glasgow and just the culture and the environment they created made it more exciting. And unfortunately, with COVID, there was no fans. So I think it would have been a very different experience if we had that, because then you kind of get that excitement of playing in front of people rather than, making it feel like it's just a friendly match. But it is what it is.
Can you talk about, of course, what that was like playing without fans?
It was very different because with fans, you get the hype from them. You get that energy. When it comes to not having many spectators, now you kind of have to get into that mentality of hyping yourself up with your teammates and just realizing that it is another game. It's another part of the league that you want to win. So without having the fans, it takes a stronger mindset to get yourself more in the zone. And I think when it comes to those type of games, it can be mentally exhausting, especially after, but I really enjoyed it still. And I think my time at Glasgow City was definitely an experience I'll take with me, especially just, learning from the other girls and the coaches and just the way they play over there.
What was your game day routine like as a professional versus, of course, when you were in college?
That's so different because with college, you're so busy, as in 90% of your life is your sport, and then 10% is kind of the academics, because when you're on scholarship, you have to do well in both to keep it right. And my game day ritual was different with university because you have to try to fit everything in, your social life, your academics, and then the sport itself. And I would say that my pre-game ritual wasn't as serious back then as it is now, because I know myself now and I grew from that. So pre-game ritual for college was mostly just getting ready for the night game. And basically when you get into the locker room, that's when you kind of start your ritual. At that age, you put on your music and you just get into the zone. And that's what I did. I was not the person that would talk to anybody or, dance in the locker room and cheer everyone up. It was more like I'll listen to my own music and get myself really focused and motivated. Whereas I still do that now, but my pre-game ritual starts the night before the game or even the day before the game, where you rest, you do some mindfulness, take care of your body and recover for the next day. Then the next day you eat really well, again, get mentally focused, have the music that I listen to hype myself up. And then it's just like a lot of mindfulness and imagery now for me. So that's basically my pre-game ritual.
What were some of the similarities and differences between putting on your college jersey for the first time and when you got to put on all of your professional jerseys?
With college, I think it feels exciting at first because you're now in a different environment than club when you're younger. Because in college, you have the locker room feeling, you have the audience or the fans, you have that feeling. But when I was in university, it was like my time away from school. It was my time to relieve stress and kind of forget about that, which is what I really enjoyed. But now professionally, it's your job, right? So it's definitely different because when you have people invest in you, then you feel more honored to wear the jersey and put it on and represent the club that believes in you. So I think that feeling is different than university because you don't even realize that at first until later on if you do continue your career after college.
Of course, when you were coming out of college, did you know that you wanted to go straight international, or did you think of going into the NWSL draft?
I didn't think about the NWSL draft because I always wanted to experience something other than America. And I wanted to explore what it's like over there in Europe and stuff like that. I would be interested to play in the NWSL, but I don't know how that process works, to be honest. And also, it's very competitive in America. There's just so many girls and so many players, and then there's not that many teams. So to me, it feels like you kind of have to know somebody who knows another person to like get you in. Whereas it's nice that I've made a name for myself in Denmark, so everyone knows me. It's a small country. So because I gained that reputation, it's easier for me to be invested in over there rather than in America.
Who are some players that you look up to during your career?
Um, a lot of the players I've looked up to are players that I've played with. So if you know Janine Van Wyk from South Africa, she's on the national team there, and she's currently playing with Glasgow City right now. She was my roommate there, but she's just one of the most like motivating people because she always has that like happy spirit and like really good vibes, and she's always positive and encouraging. So someone like that is always like someone to look up to and work for, because she's the center defender for that team. And when I was there, it's always that mindset of like seeing how hard she puts in the work to prevent goals makes me inspired to put in that work to get goals. So it's like that. I don't know what that is. It's just like that chemistry and that knowledge of knowing like I'll do anything for you and vice versa.
That's so amazing. What are some of your future plans in your professional playing career?
I kind of want to go where life takes me. I'm all about gaining experiences. And when I was little, I always wanted to play for the US national team like everyone else. And as I grew older, I kind of realized that, that's really hard to get into. Again, America is so big, and yet you need to be well known and seen for the national team. So my goal for the future right now is to just focus on myself and progress and do the best I can do, and kind of let the experiences develop, and hopefully I'll see like what type of opportunities I gain from developing myself and focusing on myself.
That's wonderful. What advice would you give college athletes looking to play college soccer?
For athletes that are playing college soccer right now, I would advise them to just enjoy every moment, because when you leave it, you kind of don't really realize what you experienced because you're so busy and you're so stressed with everything. And I would also say try to, balance everything out. You don't want to solely focus on school. You don't want to solely focus on your sport or solely focus on your social life. Having that nice balance kind of gives you a sweet escape from everything. And also kind of, yeah, I would also say, cherish the friendships you made, because some of them end up lasting forever.
What advice would you give college athletes looking to play professional soccer?
For those players, I would advise them to kind of gain insight from the coaches they play with, because the more questions they ask about themselves to the coaches, then the more feedback they can get and then progress themselves and also better themselves. And I think when it comes to trying to pursue a professional career, you need that. You need to gain as much insight as you can so you can be the best you can be.
What advice would you give soccer players that are looking to transition from, of course, college and looking to make their own way, whether it's going the NWASL route or how you did the international route?
With today's world, it's all about connections. So I would advise them to, reach out to people and, gain connections as much as you can, because somebody knows somebody knows somebody that can help you. And that's what happened to me. I was somebody that made a LinkedIn because it was one of my assignments at Purdue, was to make a LinkedIn. And if we didn't like it, then we could delete it. But they made us make one for that class. So I made one, and that's how I ended up in Europe. I made connections through LinkedIn and was able to meet different people that were willing to help me. Obviously, there's some people that, say a lot and they can't help you, but it's about building that connection and that network to see the people that you can trust and that will help you. And yeah, I think that's just really important in today's world.
That's wonderful advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media?
On social media, I have Instagram. It's my full name, Nicole Lauren Robertson. And then I started my own business, so that can be found on Instagram and Facebook. But other than that, I don't really use that much social media.
Thank you. Thank you again, Nicole Robertson, for your interview, and best of luck in your professional soccer career.
Thank you.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Nicole Robertson, for your interview, and best of luck in your future.
Thank you.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.